What's up, guys? So I want to talk a little bit about the mass shootings. I did a live stream yesterday from Castleberry. Hold on, let me turn down this gain a little bit or volume. Okay, so I did a live stream yesterday. I wasn't ready to really talk about the mass shootings yesterday, just because there's been so much like back and forth political fighting. So I touched on it a little bit, but I want to go more in depth today. So I'm going to wait for a few people to join, and then I'll give you guys some shout outs, and then we'll get started. And like I always say, this is not going to be long, but we'll see. We'll see. It's actually cooler in my room, so maybe I can go a little bit longer. And I'm working on trying to get a fan in here, so I won't have any excuses, but it was nice to get out and go see the crew yesterday. So I hope you guys got to tune in for that. And I hope that you are sub to my backup channel in case anything happens to this one. Also, of course, follow me on BitChute and Rumble and all the, I guess, third-party mainstream like social media apps. Follow me there. So whether it's Rumble, Parler, Telegram, BitChute, follow me there. Gab. It's hard for me to post on all of them consistently, but at least I have a presence there, so that's good enough. So if you follow me on one of those platforms, just know I may not be posting every day or even every week, but I'm there and I'll try to get better at it. But let's see. We got Jonathan. We got Sunshine. We got Lil Red, Hood Booga. We got Willard Rockwell, Stella, Anvi, Lexi, DM, the moderator. Shout out to DM. Take care of those trolls for me today, DM. Like you always do. Crystal. Okay, good. We have a nice little crowd. So let's talk about these mass shootings. Okay, so my thoughts about this whole thing, right, is, I like to zoom out. I like to zoom out, get a bigger picture, get a better vantage point. And when you think about it, man, we are just on a curated roller coaster ride where the media and the press, they release and promote headlines to trigger selective emotional responses to tragedy. And because they do it repetitiously, it programs people to just naturally, without looking into facts or anything else, it just has them emotional because of the repetition, to where people won't go beyond the headline of an article. They won't look for follow-up. They won't dig into the details, get into the weeds at all. It just triggers the emotional response. It's always an appeal to emotion. And it's a roller coaster ride. Whatever the media tells people is important is what they will think is important, and they will respond accordingly via emotion. It's always an emotional stimulus, right? Because when your emotions are manipulated, it allows your subconscious mind to be programmed to get behind whatever agenda they're trying to push. And then as far as the political tribal fighting, I mean, everybody just toes the line of whichever their political affiliation talking points would say they need to support. So and it's really sick and demonic and disgusting what the media does, because their ratings go up. You saw recently that the ratings of CNN, MSNBC have all tanked since Trump left office. They've been tanking. And now their ratings are through the roof because they can talk about these mass shootings. Politicians can cash in. Activists can mobilize on social media. They can basically just activate their propaganda megaphones to accomplish their agenda. Why does my voice always get raspy when I start talking? I can only drink so much water, though, without having to, Anyway, so the media's ratings are succeeding right now. They're happy. They're thrilled about it. And people can just rush to judgment. People can, do their typical song and dance, whether it's blaming the gun, blaming white people, blaming systemic racism, white supremacy, Trump. Depending on the instance, that's what they will do. So the tale of these two shootings, the two mass shootings, and you can argue the third mass shooting, there's really three types. The third one is the one that really goes unnoticed. That's the ones that happen in Chicago and St. Louis and Baltimore, because if you look up the definition of mass shootings, I think it's like 4 or more people. If 4 or more people get shot, that is considered a mass shooting. Therefore, mass shootings happen all the time. If you're just going off the definition, if you're putting your emotions to the side, if you're putting your political tribe aside, like, well, left is anti-gun and right is pro-gun, if you just take all that out of it and just look at the definition of mass shootings, they happen all the time. They happen every single day. And they don't always happen with the big, scary weapon of war, AR-15, right? So there's really 3 types of mass shootings. But you saw with the mass shooting last week and the one with this week, the tone, the rhetoric, the framing of those shootings are completely different. The first one, they could not wait to say, look, it's a white guy and it's white supremacy and it's a hate crime. It's racism, with zero evidence, no facts, just the emotional response that is promulgated by the media, regurgitated by activists, and then normies just pick up on it and start virtue signaling, fighting with friends and family over gun control. It's just a mess. All the while, the victims get completely forgotten about. And then the shooter gets promoted. That, you know, they talk about these mass shooters and sensationalize them and make them the focal point. They're always showing the mass shooter. You can always name the mass shooter, but you can't ever name the victims. They always talk about the mass shooter. And, you know, there's a case to be made that that actually motivates, you know, a copycat mass shooter. Like they want to go out in infamy. But there is so many different ways that people frame these shootings and use it to push their narrative. For example, if, you know, for example, the one in Boulder the other day, at first they couldn't wait to say, like, look, it was white supremacy, white. But he killed white people, and they later found out he wasn't white. Then they're like, well, it's guns. The gun did it, the scary AR-15. But the other one from Atlanta was like, it's a white supremacist, and he targeted Asians, even though he admitted he had like a sex addiction or something like that. And it's just, I get tired of it. I'm so tired of it. It's just, it's really sad because people are just standing on the graves of people who have been murdered before their family even has a chance to like come to terms with it. It just happens so fast. And then like that, boom, we're on to the next bump on this roller coaster ride. It's just a constant like stimulus. That's why I didn't want to say anything about it right away. I didn't want to tweet about it, but I feel like today, now that I had a chance to really look at it, of course we know that this is all about them pushing an agenda to confiscate guns. That's what their goal is. That's the end game. It is. That's just the way it is. But I feel like now I can actually say something about it because this is how they use the Hegelian dialectic: problem, reaction, solution, right? The solution is gun confiscation, clearly, because if you just pass more gun laws, even though there's more guns than people in this country, well, if the criminal can't access it legally, I guess they won't do it, right? They just, well, I couldn't get a gun legally, you know, then I guess I just won't go commit that act of terror in a grocery store, right? It's so nonsensical. It's not even like, I can't even like put it into words. It's so hard to describe how idiotic it is to think that you can legislate evil out of society and you can leave out key details. Like the person was already showing signs of them potentially doing this. So the laws we have on the books didn't even work. The FBI dropped the ball, at least for the Colorado guy. And then you got people, of course, leaving out key details in the Atlanta shooting. Like, well, he actually killed 2 white people too. So if it was clearly racially motivated, he kind of messed up a little bit. He killed 2 of his own, right? People are just rushing to make this into whatever will boost their ratings, boost their social media profile, get them likes and clicks, give them that dopamine hit on social media, while forgetting about the victims, forgetting about the fact that we have real problems in this country that transcend gun violence. There's a lot of predetermining factors that go into any amount of violence. It takes a very sick, possessed person to commit an act of evil. It's not because Trump said China virus, right? I mean, they're talking about this UK variant. There's a UK variant. So if you're talking about where the UK, if you call it the UK virus, does that mean people are going to go attack Brits? No. It takes a special kind of evil in your heart that has already predated guns and politics that would allow you to go take another person's life. And I think that is, while most of you will agree that's common sense, that's the reality. That's the truth of the matter. So they use these mass shootings to try to confiscate guns, to promote their agenda, to push false narratives, to make us hate each other more, distract us from the fact that we've had problems brewing in this country for a long time. And another thing I want to touch on too, before I forget, is this whole thing, and I kind of got to tread lightly here, with crisis actors and false flags and stuff. Let me tell you why I have a hard time with that. People say there are people who try to say things without evidence. They make these wild accusations and claims. And I know some of these situations have been sketchy. The Las Vegas one, very sketchy. There's a certain one that happened in Connecticut. I don't even want to name drop, but Alex Jones once famously said it never happened. That there's some sketchy stuff there. But I mean, the majority of these are real. They happen. Right? A couple of these hit close to home for me, literally and figuratively. There was the Columbine shooting. That happened in my hometown, not my exact hometown, but in the Denver metro area. I went to the funeral of one of the victims, the only Black victim. Isaiah Scholes was his name. I went to his funeral. It was held at my church, actually. And there were like thousands of people there, whatever. But so that one hit close to me because I was in middle school when it happened. I remember our teacher coming in telling us about it, and she was crying. It was horrible. Okay. Then you had the shooting at the Aurora movie theater, which is a movie theater I went to growing up. Okay. A girl I went to high school with died in that shooting. So it's real. It happened. And then I also know somebody who lost their life in the Las Vegas shooting. She was actually helping me get a job at the time. I was working with one of those, like, not temp agencies, but they find you employment. They find you a job. They help you with your resume and all that stuff. And so I actually know people who have lost their lives. I've been to funerals of victims. So for people to say, and I know it's a small amount of people, for people to say that these shootings aren't real, they're staged, they're psyops, they're false flags. I mean, there's a lot of sketchiness around them. The timing seems very convenient. I mean, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, you can look up Manchurian candidates, MK Ultra, mind control. You could really, really go down the rabbit hole, and you might find yourself delusional at the end of it. But there's some information there that you just do your own research about it, right? And with the crisis actors, the same thing. How is it possible? And I'm sure it's possible, but how is it statistically possible that 2 to 3 people could be survivors of multiple mass shootings? Multiple. And they just so happen to be there to do the interview with the media. I mean, you can look this stuff up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Just look into it for yourself. There have been people who have survived multiple mass shootings. I suppose it's possible you could be at 2. You could be at this big concert in Vegas, but then also have been at a movie theater and this. But like, to be there with somebody else who you didn't know, they survived the same 2 ones you did, and you're doing interviews together. I'm going to leave it at that. There's a lot of sketchy coincidences there. So that, to me, I feel like is a little bit suspect. I don't know how I feel about it, but I just think the timing is always convenient, and finding these people. And then some of the people who were actually there, or they lost a loved one, they're so calm, cool, and collected when they do their interview. And it's just weird. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying that they are a crisis actor. I'm just saying it's how can you be so weirdly calm in your interview after you just experienced what I assume is the most traumatic thing you've ever experienced in your whole life? And then you have top of mind how we need tougher gun laws. And you make sure to say that in your interview. I've never been through this situation before, but I'd like to think that I would be so shocked that I couldn't talk to anybody. I would be speechless. You would see it on my face. And the last thing I'd be thinking about is, we need to really pass this law or this bill that's gotten stalled out by Republicans. And you're saying that in your interview, like an hour after one of these things happened. It just doesn't sit right with me, man. And I'm sure I can't be the only one out there that feels that way. But again, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of conspiracy and speculation, because this stuff is obviously damn near impossible to prove. I know a lot of people try to pull together clips and all that stuff and connect the dots. And I think that's great. And we know that the media lies. We know that they use false flags to promote agendas and stuff like that. We've known that before, that they can use it as leverage to advance their agenda. And then, they tighten the noose around our necks as far as laws go, as far as freedom and liberty. And this is no different with gun control. So while, this video may get, or this stream may get demonetized, YouTube may hate on it, I'm just telling you the truth from my perspective. I'm just saying what I think is true. I'm giving you my opinion. I'm telling people to do their own research. And that's just that. But we got to stop, with the political fighting on it. Like, for any conservative to act shocked that now Democrats are coming hardcore for the Second Amendment, they've always done this. This isn't new. This isn't brand new. They've been doing this. And when it doesn't fit their narrative, they'll just say white supremacy. They revert back to the neo-Marxist strategy of, well, we can just pin it to a broader narrative, or broader narrative about this country, that it is a white supremacist system. It's the gun that did it. Because if it doesn't fit the narrative, they'll either cover it up, or they'll spin it and twist it and make it into something else. So like Black people getting shot in Chicago, little kids, that is not newsworthy. They do not care. They'll talk about it if they have to, right? If, let's say, Fox News breaks a story like 50 people shot in Chicago over the weekend. That's a big story because people were murdered. But the news, the mainstream, the left-wing establishment media, then they'll pick it up and cover it. But it's brief. It's pretty much like, well, it's just, it's part of Black culture, hip hop, rap music, whatever goes on in their mind, to where it's like not a big deal at all to talk about it. They just talk about it casually. Yeah, in Chicago, this happened. That's not how it should be. Should care about all of it. I mean, it's all bad. But then to try to use those situations, not the Chicago type situations, but what happened in Boulder and what happened in Atlanta as reasons for stricter gun laws is disingenuous at best, because the places that have the strictest gun laws already have high levels of murder, gun crime, illegal guns. I mean, Chicago's really tough on guns. So is Baltimore. That's where these shootings are happening. And then about this anti-Asian sentiment, I mean, people would love nothing more. People on the left would love nothing more than to just continue. It's white people's fault. It's white supremacy. It's Trump's America. He said China virus. But Black people in the inner city are the ones that have been committing the most crimes against Asians. Like the knockout game where you just randomly knock out a person. They've done it to white people. They've done it to Asian people. That gets covered up. So Asians don't matter then. They don't care. They don't care when two perceived minority groups are at odds with each other, or there's crimes being committed and they're actually racially motivated. If it's not a white person that is committing the crime, they do not care. They don't care. And so because the media doesn't care, they're telling the average person not to care, because the media controls what you care about. The media is the one that provides you your daily information. They curate this information. They curate it. They'll tell you what's important, what you should be outraged about. They'll frame it in a certain way. They tried to do it with this Boulder situation. They backtracked. Kamala Harris had to delete a tweet. They were instantly like, it was a white guy that did it. This was white supremacy. Well, that wouldn't have worked even if it was a white guy, because all of the victims were white. So how is it white supremacy if he's going to Boulder, Colorado to kill white people? If he was really motivated to kill minorities, why wouldn't he go to East Oakland, California, Memphis, Tennessee, Baltimore, Maryland? Why wouldn't he go to some really black area and just spray indiscriminately, even if it were a white person? But it wasn't. It was a Syrian refugee. So that's why I say it kind of cues in. Some conservatives will take the bait like, oh, it's radical Islamic terrorism. It's like, you don't know that. You're doing the same game that the left does. The left will look at a shooting and be like, the Atlanta one, there's a white guy, he killed Asian people, is a hate crime, he's a racist, he's a white supremacist, Trump supporter, with no facts, no evidence, none of it. But some conservatives will look at, if it's a Muslim shooter, they'll say, oh yeah, it's a Muslim extremist, whatever. And maybe that's true. Maybe it comes out that it's true. I haven't even looked into it, but we do know his name, obviously Middle Eastern, and he's a Syrian refugee. But to just rush to judgment means you're doing the exact same thing the other side does. And I know some people don't agree with that, but I just say what I think is true. And I'm not some tribalist where I'm just like, well, here's the conservative talking point, so let me just fall in line and push the same narrative. It's like they want us to fight over stupid things. And a lot of people still take the bait. And, if they really cared about if they really cared about gun violence, they would look at these cities, these failed experiments called cities, that they have extreme violence, gun violence, with extreme gun laws, because all gun laws mean are law-abiding citizens aren't allowed to protect themselves with a firearm. And if you were to delusionally think that, well, we can just ban all assault rifles, we can just ban these guns and then boom, gun violence is gone. What about the mental health? What about the fact that people get knifed over in Europe because they have strict gun laws? What about the suicide bombers? You don't think evil people will find a way to commit these acts? See, but they don't care about that solution. They care about their solution, which is disarming the law-abiding. Laws apply to the law-abiding. People who disregard the law, they don't care what law you put in place. But it's like people can't go there. They don't even want to hear me say that because it doesn't align with their feelings. People care about what they feel, not what is true. I care about what is true regardless of how I feel. If the truth doesn't support what I feel, then I'll adopt the new truth. Because the truth fears no scrutiny. The truth is something you can ground yourself in. You can grow from that. But if you just care about living in your feelings, you'll never get to the bottom of anything. You'll just be an emotional wreck. You'll just be a wind-up doll going in whatever direction the media sends you in. Like, oh, I'm mad at kids in cages because they're talking about it during Trump, but under Biden, no. It's not a crisis at the border. No, that's gone. That was only under Trump. And that's what I was kind of alluding to yesterday in that stream when I was saying, people are so absent-minded that you can just present whatever information to them, and because it's coming from their tribe, they'll follow it. But if you tell them the exact same thing, but the other side did it, then they'll get outraged. And it's like, it goes for everything. Racism, right? Joe Biden could say the N-word on TV tonight, and nobody on the left will care. He's already said it. That's the thing. He said it. It's on camera. This man being a bigot, but they spent 5 years calling Trump this racist white supremacist. You got Ralph Northam taking pictures in Klan hoods, but you got Trump on the other side, pictures with Rosa Parks. Nobody thought he was racist before. It's the same idea. It's like, I care about racism, fighting hate. I stand for black people. If it's Republicans that are doing it, if it's my opposition that's doing it, if the opposition did this, then I'm outraged. But if this side did it, it's cool, it's fine. Or I don't even know about it because the media hasn't told me to know about it. The media hasn't informed me, as opposed to someone that takes in all information, or picks and chooses what information they think is important. See, this world will impose its will on you if you let it. And too many people just wake up, respond to whatever stimulus is there, and it ruins their day, sends them off the rails. Next thing you know, they're angry, and it's a sad cycle. And so that's just what I noticed from these hate crimes, these shootings, is that they use them to push gun control, to blame an entire race of people. And then it's back and forth. It's whataboutism. What about this? What about the Orlando shooting? What about this? What about that? But it's like, meanwhile, there's a lot more that we could be talking about that leads to these shootings. What leads to it? What led to it? What do we know about this guy? What kind of person was he? Were there any signs? Was he on an FBI watch list? If he didn't get a gun legally, could he have gotten it illegally? Is there not a black market for guns? How do people in Chicago get guns? How do felons get guns in Chicago? If Chicago has strict gun laws, there should be no gun violence, right? And because, of course, it's black on black, it can't help them fan the flames of their narrative that it's white people committing all these mass shootings and they're racially motivated. I've even heard such outlandish claims that there are white people putting on black costumes in Chicago to go and shoot black people. Yeah, that's real. That's a thing. There are people who, more than a few, some blue checkmark people that have said this, floated this insane conspiracy theory. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? How about the conspiracy theory that it's white people secretly putting on black costumes that look real, going into Chicago just to kill black people? Like they would need to do that when you have an entire culture built around gang violence, drug deals. You know how guns are cool, the hood mentality. I'm just saying, these are facts. These are facts. Look this stuff up. So that's all I pretty much had to say about it. I just think that it's a tragedy. The blame game is so exhausting. Blaming a gun, blaming an inanimate object is so exhausting. Ignoring real crimes, ignoring other shootings, ignoring the fact that gun laws are already in place in New York City and Baltimore and Chicago and pretty much blue areas. They have strict gun laws where they have jurisdiction. They have strict gun laws. They also have highest crime rates, highest murder rates, murder by guns. Law-abiding citizens don't have guns. Criminals know that. They like that. Now they want to make it a nationwide thing. And only people who are severely brainwashed and delusional will actually believe that banning black scary guns are going to somehow solve the problem when for one, they can get them on the black market. For two, those aren't even the number one guns used in mass shootings. And for three, there's more than one type of gun that is black and scary. I'm just saying, like, these solutions make zero sense, but we know that they're not truly solution oriented. They're not really concerned with gun violence. They're concerned with their agenda, which is disarming you, the law-abiding citizen. So that's what I have to say about that. How many minutes are we into this? I don't know. Oh, we're only 28 minutes in. Okay, great. Appreciate everybody's tuning in. I can't even see how many people are watching. Oh, looks like we got a decent crowd. Man, I really miss my Facebook because I would have had probably 3 times as many on Facebook. But I appreciate everybody that's watching me now on YouTube. Yeah, so, I mean, there's that. They don't care about the little kids that have to sleep in bathtubs. They don't care about the Asians at the massage parlor. They don't care about the white people in Boulder, Colorado at the King Soopers. They care about their agenda. They care about manipulating you. And that's just that. They care about their ratings. They care about curating information. When you search Google, they curate the information so that you see what they want you to see, not what's there. They will show you what they want you to see. And people can't seem to look past that. They don't realize that they're living in a seamless ecosystem of curated news stories, headlines that are inflammatory, meant to trigger their selective emotional responses to tragedies. And I just wish more people would snap out of it and wake up. So, yeah, that's that. Now I want to talk a little bit more about how they don't care about your health. Newsflash, Newsflash, they don't care about your health. And it's okay to have a healthy skepticism. Wait, before I go there, I'm not here to give you medical advice. You can do what you want. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you think it's for your health and it's safety and it gives you some security and it helps you sleep at night, wear a mask. Wear a mask. Right? That's fine. If you want to get the injections, that's fine. I'm not telling you not to do it. But if you're somebody who is against both of those things, then I would encourage you to use your voice often and loudly to denounce it, because strength in numbers is how we get her done. Right? I go to my doctor's office today. I forgot what he looks like. I forgot what my doctor looks like because, well, I don't see him that often, but when I go in for a checkup, I forgot what he looks like because he has to wear a mask all the time. But guess what? I don't. I walk in my doctor's office without a mask on. Why? Because that's the way it's always been. I don't want to play this silly game. I don't want to pretend and play this make-believe fairy tale where I'm sick, but I'm really not sick, and I'm keeping other people from getting sick by covering my breathing holes. I'm not doing that anymore. So I walk in everywhere without it. Walgreens, Publix, CVS, government buildings. I do it all the time. And I encourage people who feel the same way I do to do the exact same thing. But not only do that, make it known that you don't do that, because strength in numbers is how you win. That's how we win. And I'm just tired of this, this false, sense of security that people think they're getting when you want to participate in this human experiment, get these 2 rushed chemical cocktails with synthetic antibodies, and then you end up getting sick anyway, or you're damaged and you can't sue the company because, thanks to Ronald Reagan, you can't sue the vaccine company. So if you're vaccine damaged, tough luck. Your employer wants to make you take it. Are they going to assume liability? No, tough luck. People don't get it. That's why I say I'm not just going to toe this line. I know you can't talk about Reagan. He was one of the best Republican presidents. Yeah, but Reagan also is part of the reason why California turned blue. Look that up. And I'm not just trying to go hard at Reagan, but I'm saying he's part of the reason California went blue. And also, he made it so that you can't sue a vaccine company. And so I think it's totally fine if you have a healthy skepticism when they are too eager to rush this thing through. They're trying to provide you incentives, Krispy Kreme donuts every day for a year. If you just get both injections and prove it to us on a card, we're going to give you a donut every day for the rest of the year. Those donuts are disgusting off top. I'm just going to say, and I'm not some health nut. I like a good donut, but I mean, those are just disgusting. Krispy Kreme has got to be one of the worst. But anyway, what does that say about them? I'm not trying to sound too judgmental, but I wouldn't feel good if I were on the executive board or, in a managerial position at Krispy Kreme, and I'm handing out free donuts to people who just took 2 shots because they think that will keep them safe and healthy. All right, Kay, here's your deep fried large sugar ring. Hope it doesn't rot your teeth out of your head. Hope you don't get type 2 diabetes and get your foot cut off. Hopefully you don't get heart disease. By the way, come back tomorrow and get another one. We care about your health. It's so fraudulent. It's so dishonest. It's so disgusting. And it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that these people don't care about your health. Go get this rushed vaccine that you can't even sue Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, who they've got a checkered track record. I'm just going to say that. Look that up with their baby powder. You can't sue them, but, come on down with your face covered and come get this free donut every single day. After you got your 2 shots that, you may get sick afterwards, because we know the flu vax misses the mark damn near every year. People who get the flu shot still get the flu. If you're not going to eradicate it, why are you pushing it? Why are you so eager? When you ever have somebody that's so eager to get you to see something or do something that it makes you skeptical? You're like, why do you want me to go in that room so bad? What are you hiding? What trick is up your sleeve? Because you're too eager, you're too excited to show me this product or sell me this thing. You're like, let's pump the brakes here. Can I see some more evidence? Can I see some more data? Can we wait? Can we look at the available statistics and data on this thing that you're trying to sell me? Is it worth it? Is it beneficial? Why should I do it? What are the alternatives? But see, you're not allowed to question it. You're not allowed to question. Let's all get the vaccine. These cringe cartoon rap propaganda pushes and Krispy Kreme donuts and former presidents saying, "Oh, take it live on air." And former like boxing champions and entertainers all happen to take it, and then mysteriously they just die later. I mean, I can't go too deep into this, but they're too eager to get this in front of you. And it's like, would you rather get fat and sit on your couch, not exercise, get the 2 shots, go get your free donut every day, or have a healthy immune system, breathe, get fresh air, get a lot of sleep, take vitamins, exercise, engage in social interactions, go to work, have your kids go to school, and live life the way that you lived it before this new version of the bubonic plague came around? Would you rather that? Or do you want to live a free person? Do you want to live like a free person, or do you want to be a comfortable slave-like sheep? Because there is this whole thing called quality of life. There's a such thing as that, right? But they've gotten so effective at this repetitious propaganda brainwashing that they can just straight up tell you, like, we got to save your life. But in order to do that, we got to ruin your life. We got to make your quality of life suck so bad that, divorce is on the rise, domestic violence is on the rise, child abuse, opioid abuse, alcoholism, suicide, so much is on the rise. And a lot of it leads to people committing some of these crimes. Not that it's an excuse or it's justified, but I'm just saying, when you have an emotional kettle, it's going to pop and people are going to commit some crimes. And it's because of government mismanagement, government intervention, and incompetence. The government forced closed our economy. The government put seniors back in nursing homes and drove up the death rate. The government shut down your business and put you in financial despair, which led to all the other problems that I mentioned before: divorce, domestic violence, child abuse, drug abuse, alcoholism, suicide, obesity. And what do? They get all these corporations to back it. Corporations that got you fat, that made you, and I'm not trying to rail against people that are overweight. I'm just saying that these corporations like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Oreo, they act like they're on some moral high ground as they push George Floyd propaganda down your throat. And then Krispy Kreme comes along like, yeah, if you just do all this and trust the science, Lord Fauci over there, if you just trust his word, mask up twice, get 2 injections, we'll give you a free donut every single day. You can die from donuts instead of the virus. You can just die from getting heart disease. Sure, why not? It's only the leading cause of death in the country. So that's just, I know I just said a whole bunch of things, but I'm kind of on a roll with this, so I just got to continue. I just think that this whole COVID narrative, I'm just done. I just don't even acknowledge it. I don't live in that world, and I'm not going to live in that world, and neither should you if you feel the same way. Now, if you feel opposite, fine. Continue living your life the way that you normally have. Wait till Fauci tells you you're safe and healthy and go on about your business. But if you are a freedom lover, if you believe in your immune system that God gave you, if you believe that man has already defeated this virus by way of the survival rate, then go on about your business the way you always did. Reject these mask mandates, reject these government lockdowns, and reject the rushed experimental vaccine. I mean, they're telling you all this garbage. I mean, none of it makes sense. That's the other thing too, is like, I don't get why more people haven't snapped out of it. They're like, okay, this has gone on too long. Some people have. They've grown fatigued and tired with this narrative. Like, I'm sick of every time the waitress walks up to my table, I have to put the mask on. I'm sick of, I can take it off on the airplane only while I'm sipping water, and I got to put it back over my nose. I'm sick of standing 6 feet apart while I line up to get on the airplane, and then I'm 6 feet apart from somebody else once I'm in there, breathing in recycled air. for 3 hours while I'm flying. If you're tired of that, the unscientific rules and restrictions that are put in place, if you're tired of being treated like a kid, like a sheep, we walk in the store, they're directing you, like, look at the stickers on the floor. You can only go down this aisle this way and then back up the other aisle. They're treating us like children, this nanny state, this garbage, and it's not scientific. What is the science behind putting on a mask outside of a restaurant? As soon as you walk in, you can take it off and sit down. It's like you were outside where there's more air, infinite air, but when you come inside, it's cool. They're telling you can go back to theme parks, but you can't scream on roller coasters. They're telling you, hey, get these vaccines. Don't question it. Don't question it. Run DMC. Don't question it. Let's all do it. Community immunity. They're telling you all this nonsense, and none of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense, guys. I just don't get it. Doesn't make sense. You would think that more people would snap out of it, use their brains, but some people are just on autopilot. I don't say it to be mean. I say it because it's true. Flip-flopping Fauci said, masks aren't really providing you the perfect protection. Then he says, yes, mask up, America. It's the patriotic thing to do. Now he's saying 2 masks. Which one is it, Fauci? Lord Fauci, oh, trustworthy one. These people, man. And then it's like they want you to develop this Stockholm syndrome. That's really what it is, right? Greg Abbott let people in Texas be free. And people celebrated that like, oh, he's such a generous God. Thank you. Thank you, Greg Abbott, for allowing us freedom. Joe Biden said, by the 4th of July, you'll be able to have dinner in your backyard with your family. But you can't do it right now because I said so. Trust Fauci. Trust the science and the CDC. It's so just dishonest. And people are like, yes, there are some people, probably not many people that watch me, but there are some people who are like, if I just do everything I'm supposed to do by 4th of July, I can be free again. I can celebrate freedom on Independence Day because the president said I could. But until then, I'm going to be on my best behavior, P's and Q's. I don't want to make them mad or upset. I'm going to lock myself inside voluntarily. I'm going to cover up my breathing holes. And I'm probably going to get sick in the process, even though I wasn't sick before. I don't trust my immune system. I trust the science and Fauci, but you're not allowed to question it. All right. People are in that state of mind, whether they want to admit it or not. It's true. They're waiting for the news and Fauci and Biden to tell them it's safe and you can be free again. And other people are celebrating the freedom fighter in Texas, that governor over there, right? Greg Abbott, let you be free. Let's celebrate it. Yay. Instead of like, what took you so long? Like, right? We should, or you could just have ignored him altogether. I don't know. I don't want to go on a tangent. I'm just saying like these incentives that they're creating make it seem like you're supposed to pat them on the back, tell them they've done a good job, thank them. Thank you for letting me be free. You other human being who's no smarter or braver or more intelligent than me. Thank you for allowing me to be free. Even though at the end of the day, you're going to die just like me. You bleed red just like me. I still put you above me, Dr. Fauci. How about no, never, no. So if you're against lockdowns, mask mandates, and the vax, speak your mind. Speak your mind. Let people know. Reject the nonsense. Use your brain. Use your God-given brain. Trust your God-given immune system. What they're telling you doesn't make sense. You can ride a roller coaster, but don't scream on it. Come get a donut after you get the vaccine, even though if you gain weight, you put more pressure on your organs, make yourself more susceptible to the virus. We're going to reward you with a sugary, fatty, gross food that has no nutritional value and makes you more susceptible to not only COVID, but the flu and other infectious diseases. Come on and let's reward you. And don't question the science. And here's a cartoon rap video to show you why you shouldn't do it. Listen to Hillary Clinton when she talks about vaccine diplomacy. We should be distributing it to the third world as Americans. We're so abundant. We have this surplus of vaccines that you're not allowed to, sue them if it damages you. That's convenient. but we're going to rush it and force it and promote it and encourage you to take it. And we're really eager and excited. And if you do it and follow the rules, you can go back to normal. Yeah, no, or we can just live normal right now. So let me read some of the chat. That was like word vomit right there. Not word vomit, but I felt like I just was, okay. So anyway, let me look top chat. Let me hold on. Let me go to the live chat. I think that pulls up the chats faster. Someone said my channel's now gone because of it. And see, I tried, like, a friend of mine named Truth or Talk lost her entire channel because she was talking about the vax. See, they're making it so that you're not even allowed to question it. Just like you're not allowed to question the election, you're not allowed to question the vax, you're not allowed to question the CDC. And again, I'm just going to say, I'm not giving you medical advice, and it's not because I'm bending the knee to YouTube. It's because I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving anyone medical advice. I'm just telling you what I would do, what I am doing. And if you agree, do the same thing. I mean, you're already doing it anyway. I'm just saying, like, make it known. Strength in numbers. Because they're going to keep doing this. Paul said, am I on Telegram? Yes, at real Mike Nificent. It's in the description of this stream. All of my social media, my Patreon, PayPal, PO Box, all of those links are in the description of every single stream or video. And I hope you guys know, like, streams are probably what I'm going to do going forward. I know a lot of people who sub to my channel from the beginning were used to me doing like those short videos that were like 5-6 minutes long and had a lot of jump cuts and clips. I still enjoy doing those. The problem is they're so time consuming, and YouTube will like demote them. So they never get seen. They never see the light of day. I'll get maybe 1,000 views. Where a live stream, I'll get hundreds of people watching. And if it's the right time of the day, I'll get 1,000 people watching, and more people will actually rewatch it. It's easier. It's more raw. It's real. I feel like I'm interacting with people. I can read the chat. It's so much better. So it's primarily going to be a live stream channel, but I think at some point, maybe I would like to get back to making pre-recorded videos because I like the video editing and stuff. It's just really time consuming. I'm not the best at it. Luciano said, wear a mask that doesn't work to guard against a virus that has a 99% survival rate. Right. I mean, it's the science behind it. We've never done anything like this before. And yet we're treating this like it is the bubonic plague. And just the utter hypocrisy. Like, is there not a South African strain, a UK strain? Are we allowed to say where it came from, or will it just foment more hatred and anti-UK sentiment? Will it cause a spike in hate crimes? Will Trump's white supremacist rhetoric fuel more Black on Asian hate crimes that they cover up and call white supremacy, while they pretend to care about Asians and call it a racist hate crime attack when they don't care about Asian people being discriminated against in these Ivy League institutions? They don't care. Just so we're clear, they don't care. They never care. They don't care about kids. Kids in cages, kids not in cages, kids getting shot, having to sleep in bathtubs. They don't care about Asians. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care. They care about power, absolute power. That's what they care about. And controlling your mind, make you hallucinate to think like, oh, my neighbor wants to kill me. I hate my neighbor. They hate me too. I'm scared. What do I have to do to make this fear go away? Government, please come save the day. See how it all kind of goes hand in hand? It's all just the same thing, guys. That's it. YouTube cut off Will Johnson. Was he live? See, that's the thing. They keep cracking down. I mean, if you're, in my opinion, if you are experiencing any kind of censorship, then that means you're over the target. That's just what I think. You know, if you're just going to be a sheep and let them gaslight you and right? Like, think about this. Biden tripping up the stairs 3 times while they're telling you you didn't see that. The wind blew him over 3 times. That's what happened. You did not see him run up the stairs. He tripped because of the wind. The wind pushed him over 3 times. Well, if the wind pushed him over 3 times, maybe he shouldn't have his hands on the nuclear codes. Maybe, just maybe, he shouldn't be leading the free world. Think about foreign leaders that mock that, or they're just embarrassed. They're just embarrassed. Either you're embarrassed or you are mocking him. Putin, Kim Jong-un, President Xi, they're mocking him. They're laughing. The laughing stock. For everyone else, it's just embarrassing. It's just so cringe. I mean, if you could describe the Biden presidency in one 24-second video, that's it. That's it right there. And that's just karma, because he mocked Trump. Look at me. I like to take him out back. I take him behind the woodshed. Let's do push-ups. You see, he can't even go down a ramp, but I run up the stairs or whatever. Like, well, look what happened. Look what happened. And the media just gaslight you into oblivion. You did not see that. You did not see him run up the stairs and trip 3 times. Even though this building behind me is on fire, it's mostly peaceful. Even though there's videos you can find of Black people attacking Asians playing the knockout game, it's actually motivated by white supremacy. White supremacy has such a penetrable reach that it's going into urban areas in New York City. The white supremacist influence of Harlem, New York, is why Black people are attacking Asians. But we're not going to call it that. We're just going to say it's white supremacist. And when we find a shooting that fits our narrative, not only can we cram down gun control, we can cram down the false narrative that this was racially motivated, even though he killed 2 white people. Doesn't matter. Those lives don't matter. Either all lives matter or they don't, or none of them do. But again, selective emotional response to whatever stimulus they put in front of you. Care about this, not that. We're going to shine this laser pointer at this wall. Go on, cats. Some mashed potato brains. Are you talking about Sleepy Joe? Yeah. Don't trust your gut. Don't trust your immune system. Trust Fauci. Trust The Guardian. Trust the propaganda fact checkers. Trust PolitiFact. Trust them. They know best. The Guardian. Arbiters of truth. The monopoly on truth lies with the left. The most moral people on planet Earth voted for Biden. Everyone else, you're kind of beneath them. And they let you know that too. Think about the dehumanizing language. Domestic terrorists, dregs of society, deplorable. Just stupid stuff. Everything's stupid. It's all stupid, guys. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Wasn't Kamala in Florida and Denver days before these shootings? Kamala was here the other day, but I don't know. I have no idea. But all I can say is about that is do your own research, man. Explain to me how 2 people from different parts of the country, or 2 or more people, can be survivors of multiple mass shootings and meet up, remember each other, and give an interview together. Just look it up. Just look it up and just explain that anomaly. People, a lot of people I know on the left, they got an explanation for everything. Everything. Everything is a coincidence. Every single thing is a coincidence. Charles, thank you. Hey, I got your letter. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I wonder what Bozo O'Rourke, I can't say his last name, Bozo O'Rourke has to say about the shooting in Boulder. Heck no, he will not take our AR-15s. See, the AR-15 is like the sacrificial lamb of guns, because as soon as you do a little bit of digging, you find out that the AR-15 is like 1/10 of the shootings. Most mass shootings, which again is by definition like 4 or more people, most of those shootings are committed by handguns. Sorry, people using handguns. So we gotta make sure we're on top of the rhetoric around it, because they want you to think Guns kill people. It's the gun. It is the gun. It's the tool. It's not the person. It's not the evil in their heart. It's not the malicious intent. It's the weapon that they chose. Right? But yeah, when you dig in, you see that it's handguns. They call it semi-automatic rifles. And I hardly know much about guns, but I'm smart enough to know that handguns are the majority of shootings are committed with handguns. And those are semi-automatic also. Why somebody was calling me during my live stream? Semi-automatic handguns. But they say they want to ban semi-automatic rifles and guns. So we know how this works. As soon as they do that, not only will people still get AR-15s, there's still going to be shootings. You cannot legislate evil out of society. You never will. Because if we could legislate evil out of society, we should probably start with government. Start right there in Washington, D.C. Put them all out of jobs. All of them. But no, roughly half the country thinks government is the solution. The other half knows government is the problem. Always has been, always will be. Incompetent, lazy, inconsistent, wrong. Go to the DMV. You ever go to the DMV? How's that experience for you? Great. Now, let's extrapolate that out to every industry. They take over the private industry, healthcare, everything else. Just think, what if the government ran a grocery store? Would you shop there? Would you go to whatever grocery store that you like? How would it be run? Just picture a government-run grocery store. Moldy bread, inefficient processes, items out of stock. They probably charge you a convenience fee at the register for swiping your card. And because they would want to cut costs, they would probably get like old, outdated computers from the private sector. See, they need the private sector infrastructure to even operate. So why would you want that? Why? Why? I don't trust the government, but they should also have more power. Makes zero sense. But anyway, I'm just talking in circles now. This was fun. I like doing this. But I'm probably about to wrap it up. I think I'm at an hour now anyway. 57 minutes. Yeah. But I appreciate everybody that has watched this stream, everybody that tunes in, everybody that supports me. Follow me on Telegram at Real Mike Nificent, Twitter, Mike Nificent 813. Just type in Mike Nificent 813 pretty much anywhere and everything should pop up. I do not have Facebook anymore. Someone hijacked that page. I have no idea who operates it now, but they're posting like dolphins and stuff and weird things. I have no idea. I have no control over it. But yeah, thank you, DM, for putting it in the chat. Thanks to everyone else. Make sure that you give this a thumbs up. Make sure that you share with your friends and family. God bless you guys. I will catch you in the next stream. Deuces.